Good morning, guys. It is so good to be back in the Uintas. It is like the 22nd of June, and it is a toasty 36 degrees outside, and they got a little dusting of snow last night. So I'm going to take my dog Cash, and we're going to head up to the lake I call Spaghetto Lake and check it out. High water right now, lots of runoff, so we're going to walk up Whiskey Creek just a little ways just to check it out, which is a little detour from my normal trail that I take, but I think a good shot of the water will be worth it. So let's see what we find, see if we can stay warm. So I just wanted to touch bases. I haven't put a video out the last couple of weeks, and the one I put out was a couple weeks late from when I actually did it. I've just been really tied up with work and unable to get out, which is not my normal style. I usually get to the Uintas or somewhere equivalent at least once a week. I also lost a family member, and my family rallied around, and we took care of all of the stuff we needed to take care of with that. So this trip has been necessary for me. So I am looking forward to hopefully getting up here. But I'll tell you, taking a week off is hard enough. Trying to keep your stamina up and my endurance up. I've probably been, well, at least a month, if not 5 weeks. And boy, does it show. I am 100 yards up the trailhead and already out of breath. There is no shortage of spring flowers. It doesn't need to be spring for the flowers to come out. I'm not sure spring's ever going to come. I believe we had the first day of summer the other day, but boy, you wouldn't know it. But how is that for a shot? Okay, so I've bailed off the trail. Two or three switchbacks up from where I normally bail off, just so I could get that shot of the creek coming down. It's not a lot of wind today, so most of the background noise I can hear is water flowing everywhere. I don't know if this is picking it up. It just started snowing. Lightly, but snow nonetheless. And I think I've picked up one of my trail cairns that I put up. And I put them really far apart, so this wouldn't be a obvious trail. But since I did it, I know where to look, and I just found the other one. So I'm right back on trail where I wanted to be. So I've made it to the steep section of the climb. I'd be able to see the snow now. It's coming down pretty good. And even though it's cold, it's absolutely beautiful. So I spent the last 5 days teaching a class for horse-mounted police officers. So I've spent the last 5 days in a saddle with a really, really good ride yesterday. We actually ended up in the Uintas by Whitney Reservoir doing a search for a gentleman we believe took his own life last November, and we've been unable to find him since. So the uphill climb here, my knees are letting me know about it. Lots of pretty little flowers coming out. Alright, so I know I've shown this to you before, but these little really pale pink flowers are a plant called spring beauties. And spring beauties, when you dig them up really carefully, have a bulb at the end of them. And they're actually, I looked these up online, you can buy these plants to plant in your garden. They're edible. This is the mildest radish you've ever eaten. Some people say, well, I fed a group of the horsemen I was with yesterday, I fed them all one, and I heard onion, garlic, and then when I told them radish, they were like, oh, yes, 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 that is totally what it is. It's just a really mild version of it. And there I went and lost the bulb. Let me find it again, and I'll peel it and show you. All right, there it is. Let me get it peeled and I'll show you what it looks like in the edible state, because that would be a mouthful of dirt right there. Okay, so I peeled it, but it's still dirty. They're just not bad to eat. They're a little trail snack, something you can forage for along the way, and when you find them, they're everywhere. You get a little grit in your mouth, but we're in the mountains. A little grit in your mouth's good for you. What do you think? You want to try some? Huh? You want to try some? And it seems to me, the bigger they are, this one was probably not quite dime size, but it has a lot more of the peppery taste to it. The smaller ones are more mild. All right, we're just about to cross the saddle here, and the lake will be right in front of us. I've seen quite a bit of fresh elk scat, but when I bring my dog, I very seldom see the elk. They seem to know he's coming. So there's a little bit of a pond here that I've never seen with quite this much water in it. But I think the Uintas, the water tables weren't just like 100 and something percent. We were like 1,000% of our saturation this year. And the way it's been so cold and melting out as slow as it has, the ground has been able to capture a huge amount of this water. It's not just running over top of it. Which is going to be really good for the plants this year. But if it dries out too quick, will be an awesome fire hazard. So just over this next little saddle here is the actual lake. And I think I'm close enough, I'll take you over to the outlet. How's that for a thing of beauty? So that is Bourbon Peak and an awesome reflection in Unnamed Lake. And the fish are jumping at that end. So I took a chance today and re-upped my Utah fishing license because it's non-residence. It's actually a expense, but it looks like it's going to pay off. Huh. How about right there? They're feeding all over. Let's see if we can get one of these suckers to come in. Had a hit, but he didn't take it. What a beautiful, chilly day. And it's exactly what I needed. If I could just get a fish to take the line. I don't even plan on eating it. I just want to catch one. It would be the first fish of the year. And it would be awesome. beautiful, beautiful colors this time of year. That just made the whole trip worth it. So it decided to hit us with snow again, which is okay. There's some blue sky begging to pop up over the hill over here. But the fish are still jumping over here, so fish while the fishing's good. All right, well this normally is the shore. Of course, with the runoff coming like it is, lakes are way overfilled. At the Stillwater Reservoir up on the Duchesne side of the Uintas, for the first time in a while, actually hit the overflow on the dam. And they're expecting it to run for a lot longer than it normally does. We really needed the snow, and boy did we get it. So this down here normally isn't lake. Tells you how high the water is. I'm gonna have to go pretty far around to get around to it. The normal shore is with this big dead tree right here, cuts around. What a reflection though, huh? So the fishing on this side is a little different. It's very swampy, wet. The only way to get out to where you can cast is to walk out on these little logs, and they're like 6-8 inch logs that are wet. They got a little snow on them. Had a little excitement to the game. So this lake is spring fed, and it's actually getting quite a bit of water pulled into it. I don't see if you can see the sand getting kicked up right there. That's the water flowing into it. And those fish were just jumping right in front of me, but not interested in what I had. Man, so Mother Nature's really having mood swings today. It just got real dark and snowed for a second and my fingers get freezing. And then it turns around. Well, I can't say the sun's out, but it warms up just enough. It feels so good. All right. So if you haven't, please give me a thumbs up. If you like seeing stuff like this, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I do appreciate everybody watching. I'm going to keep cruising around here. I'm going to fix lunch. See if I can get across this swamp without getting soaking wet. Fix up some lunch. All right, here's a little view of the inlet. Comes in, I believe Bourbon Lake feeds this lake. I hope that's the hardest part to cross because that was pretty easy. It looks like there's still quite a bit of water up here. But I think I've gone far enough to avoid it. Oh. Last year I came up here probably about this time of year. I was coming across this end and I bumped into a cow and calf moose. So while I'm over here, every time I hear a tree squeak or some weird noise, I'm jumping out of my skin. But so far I've been safe. Whew. I might just be better off to get my feet wet than fall off the leg and get all of me, or off the log and get all of me wet. All right. I'll set up over here, cook up some lunch, enjoy the view, and get on back home. So lunch today has a beef ramen with some freeze-dried beef, corn, spinach, I believe some carrots, and some tomato powder. As cold as it is, oh, excuse me, goodness gracious. As cold as it is, it's gonna feel good to hold on to this and eat it. Give me just enough energy to get back to my truck. Okay, there's the finished product. Meat turns back into meat. I love freeze-dried food. And I know you can buy mountain houses and all those kind of things, but they season them in a way I just don't care for them. If you can get your own stuff and make your own, it's the way you like it every time. They're just not hard to put together. And I do boil most of the water out of the ramen. I'm not really into soup when I'm out here. Good bowl of noodles with some vegetables in it. Yum, yum. Alright, I'm doing something I don't normally do, but it's just cold today. So I'm going to start bailing out of here. Alright guys, I'm going to lose batteries on all my batteries are dying. The cold is hard on them. So thank you for watching. Appreciate all my subscribers. We'll catch you on the next trip. Should have some more coming up soon. Get a little more shot coming out of here.